Hi, welcome in. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Dar from Dar's Divine Connections, here with my pal Dusty Boy and my friend Robin.
Hi, everyone.
So, some of you have gotten the opportunity to read about Robin. We sent out the information in the August newsletter and then again yesterday. So, if you didn't get a chance to read the magazine article about her own struggle into healing, please do. But for now, we'll just have her tell us a little bit about herself. And would you tell us what you plan to cover today?
Well, we're kind of doing a pretty in-depth intro to essential oils. So we're taking that you don't know anything. So just give you the basics about what's important about that. But just a little bit about myself. I'm a mother and a grandmother of 5. I've been enjoying that. I was a librarian for close to 30 years, and now I do healing touch and essential oils, sharing with people and playing with grandbabies and helping parents as they age, I guess. Some of my focus, and having a little more time for myself in these years. So I'm not working full time, which has been a blessing for me. So
she mentioned healing touch, and that is actually how we met. So that's our connection, is in the healing touch energy therapy world, which we're not talking about today. So what are we covering today?
But the essential oils do work really well with this energy healing.
Yes,
and stones and things like that. They kind of are synchronized together. We got, I guess it's watching. I can see a question. We'll see. We're going to see if we can see questions from our phones.
Say hi to Dusty Boy over here.
A little far away.
He's waving.
Yes.
Yes, I might have to lean in, but if you have any questions, be sure to let us know. Hi. They're just saying hi right now. I'm helping her read the screen.
Yeah. So we're going to cover a little bit of everything, and Darla's going to ask me some questions as we go, but I want to give you a little background too. So about what are essential oils?
Yep, that was my first question.
Sorry. Okay, all right. I'm gonna do my own interview.
That's okay.
Just to start, but
I'm not needed. I'll take notes.
And I'm not going to give you the whole real scientific answer to that. But basically, essential oils are like the lifeblood of the plant. We all have blood going through us that keeps us alive, and the plants have, people have used herbs and things like that, but you're taking that lifeblood, the essence of the plant, which has served the plant for multiple purposes. It could be for protection or for attracting, hummingbirds or whatever kind of thing, and it's giving it to us when it's distilled. And there's a process called distillation of essential oils, and most of them are like a steam distilled to get that. And it takes you see a little bottle of essential oil, like here's a bottle of lavender. It takes a lot of lavender plants to get this little bottle. It's very potent. People use herbs for things, for healing, for dietary, for spices and things like that, but they're not as potent as essential oils can be. And these hold the potency better than a dried herb as well. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, so that basically that's in a nutshell a little bit about what they are. And if you look around, nowadays you can buy essential oils pretty much anywhere. Menards, I saw has it, Walmart, whatever.
Walmart has a rack.
Yes, or they have diffusers. So, but you really have to look at the quality of what you're getting if you to use them in the purposes that I use them for my family's health, and instead of how I use them in my house, and if I can put them on my body or my grandchildren's bodies, I don't want something that is synthetically made or use solvents to get more out of it. So
good. So quality is important. And then the history is they're all around us, right?
People think that the essential oils are new and they've been coming like not a fad. Well, more and more mainstream, I guess. But essential oils have been around for centuries and centuries. The Egyptians used them. There's essential oils in the Bible. A lot, there's references like well over, like, I think it's between 100, 200 references in the Bible to oils. And a lot of times when they're mentioning oils, they're talking about essential oils. They're probably only about, well, I have essential oils in the Bible kit. I like to teach that class, and that's like 12 oils. But they used them in their worship, and they did sacrifices, or they used for cleansing and things like that. Essential oils were used, but in that era, essential oils, like the Egyptians, and we're talking biblical times, it was the rich people, only the really wealthy people that had essential oils, and it was limited with what they had for the plants. And nowadays, like,
yeah, if it takes that many plants,
everybody can access essential oils. They're not always like inexpensive necessarily, but we can all have them. Some of them are pretty inexpensive, and also the variety of types that we can get, the plants that we have. Like, you can have hundreds of singles. I call them singles when it's just one plant, like lavender or lemon or peppermint. But then there's also a lot of blends where people have companies that mix them together. So you know what it's for. If it's like called peace and calming, or it's called grounding, or something like that. You're like, oh, I know how to do that. Instead of having, I still like to make my own concoctions and put things together that is gonna be for whatever purposes I'm after. But it's very helpful to people, especially beginners that they want that. They want something.
I would think so. So, just in general, how do you use oils? Because, like, I don't know, I've got a bracelet that I can put an oil on, or I can, I've had them put on my body, but I know there's lots of ways to use them. And excuse me, I'm going to read some comments, and I'm going to have to move.
Yes,
and if anyone can contact me later and tell me how to enlarge the print, I have a new phone, and I don't know how to enlarge the print on a Facebook Live. So if anyone has any information, I would love it.
We're going to try.
Because my print is smaller than on my old phone.
Right. So if you're welcome to ask questions,
and I'll be writing them down.
Yeah, we will try to answer them. If not, we'll try to get back with after the Facebook Live.
So tell us the different ways to use it, and I am going to move.
Okay. So basically, there's three ways to use essential oils. The first is aromatically. The second would be topically, and the third is by internally, taking it internally. So diffusing. What can you do for diffusing? I mean, you can, like Darla said, she has a bracelet. I have some necklaces. I actually just use my body for a diffuser as well. So I'll put, essential oils here. A lot of times I'm putting on my heart chakra. I'll put it on my wrists. I put it on, the bottom of my feet, but then I'm not smelling it. So if there is one that you don't really like the smell of, or you don't want it, or like you're in a work environment that they don't want you to use essential oils, the bottom of your feet is a great place to put essential oils because it's getting into your bloodstream quickly. And like one example would be like valerian. It's a great essential oil for sleeping, for relaxing. But it does not smell very good. To me, it smells like dirty socks.
Dirty socks.
I know one person that says he likes the smell of it, but I don't care for that one. But so you can use it. Like when I first started, I didn't have a diffuser. Here's an example of a diffuser, and this is kind of more of the way most people have a diffuser. This one has a pretty light and things like that. But you're taking a water and filling it and adding like maybe 6 drops of oil depending on what you're wanting, and then covering it up. It's plugged in, and there's a mist that comes out. Most diffusers have where you can have it go straight, just keep consistent, or you can go intermittent, and then a lot of them have a light or something like that. So if you have it in the house, you want to use it for a night light or it's in your home, your kitchen, and you just like the different colors. This one changes colors. Or you can have it totally off, which is what I prefer in my bedroom. Or when, So, but if you don't have a diffuser, and you also have to look at diffusers. There's a lot of variety of diffusers right now. So when you're looking at the details of the diffuser, you can see how much room it's going to cover if it's going to cover your whole kitchen or whatever space. And usually you're getting what you pay for diffusers. There's some super cute ones for like kids with owls and different animals and things on them too. But when before I had a diffuser myself, before I had the money to get a diffuser, this is years ago, I used a coffee filter by my bedside. I'm like, so be creative. There's different ways, or if I say I'm going to a hotel and it has that off musty smell, or I don't have that much anymore, but if it's like smoker's been somewhere, I will take cotton balls or something like that, or even a spray.
I've done that.
Yeah, for aromatherapy. But another one, this is one of my ones I use like around this time. I was just using this bad boy a couple weeks ago. My basement, even though we have an air conditioner, sometimes we'll turn it off and on, but every once in a while it's like a little musty-ish, a little basementy smelling. And so then because water is one of the things that causes the issue, I don't want to add any more water. So this is a diffuser where I'm just doing straight essential oils. So it's not as pretty of a diffuser. It just does the trick and does it. I kind of call these the manly diffusers. But anyway, so that's diffusing.
Does the trick.
Yeah, it does the trick. It does the trick. Yeah. They don't want one that's pretty necessarily or whatever. I mean, not all guys, but anyway, so those are diffusers on your body. And then the other way would be topically, just to put essential oils on the area of concern or just on your body. And when I'm putting on essential oils, because I've done energy work too, I will put a drop in my, left hand, and then I what I call activate it. So I will put my intention into the oil. I'll think about, maybe it's a lavender and I'm putting in there and I want to think about what I want that lavender to do for my body. So I'm kind of it's like an active prayer, I guess. So I'll put it on there and then I'll put it on wherever I feel like I need it. So topically would be that way. Now, if I'm doing lavender, that's when I pretty much always just do what I call neat. So it's like straight oils, no dilution. But sometimes, somebody's like newer, they're starting out, or I want to put, like, say Dusty was having a little issue that I wanted to put some on him. I might, what I call, dilute it. But Dusty, do you have any issues? Looks like he's pretty relaxed, doesn't he?
Looks like he doesn't have any issues.
No problem.
I don't think he has any issues.
And he's very small. He's a very small dog. And then, like, I have grandchildren that, my youngest grandchildren just turned a year. So if I would put oils on them, I probably will be diluting it, for one thing. So in diluting, what I'm going to call diluting is, and depending on their size, and also depending on the oil and the properties of that essential oil, you're going to want to dilute down. It's always safer to do that, anyway. So you take a good quality, what we call carrier oil, like coconut oil would be one. It could be things that are in your kitchen. It's more of a real oil of, I used jojoba oil or almond oil or any of those, but whatever oil you have in your kitchen, if it's avocado oil or whatever, it would work too. So you want to dilute it down and then apply it. And sometimes, like, when I'm doing, sometimes I use my handy little toothpick, and that will be like, I actually take the cap off and put my toothpick into that reservoir there. Can you see that? Let's see there's a plastic, pretty much all essential oils have that, and put that in there. And so you're just getting a small amount. And so if you're doing, like a baby or, and you want to put a little bit of the carrot oil, because, you can do this and be real scientific and exact about putting things, like a quarter, like a tablespoon of this and 1 drop of essential oil. But, you can eyeball it. It doesn't have to be perfect. So you can take like a teaspoon of carrot oil and like a drop, or if it's a stronger oil, like oregano would be one that's hot, or cinnamon, or I'm trying to think of other hot oils like that. that you might want to just dilute because of their property. And then you just take that toothpick and put it in and just get it going, and then you're good to go. And I'll do the same thing when I'm doing, like if you're making spaghetti sauce or something like that, you know, too many drops of oregano would kill the thing. So it's better to take a toothpick,
recipe,
stir it into your whatever you're doing. Take another toothpick if you need more, because you can always add more, but you can't always take it away. So dilution is something that is really good to use for topical at times. Also, another little factor when you're doing like babies, that's not, except for lavender or super mild oil, is the feet is a great way to start. Putting things on their feet, because it's, you know, they have real sensitive skin. So depending on what you're using it for, or just the aromatherapy, or even like a lot of times I'll take the oil and I'll call it tenting. I'll put it in my hands and just take some deep breaths in, because it's getting into your olfactory system. So that was that. And then the last way, which is probably, I mean, I do use this, and it's probably the thing that people do last, but taking oils internally. So if you have something that you want to support a body system, you want to, you know, you can actually put, these are like veggie caps, and you can use these and then take it internally, and the little cap that, you know, comes apart like that. The thing is, you do want to get a high quality of this, and one that's made for essential oils. This one is the 00 capsule. So that's a great way to take it. And also another way to do the, you know, if you don't want that smell, you still want the benefits of the properties of the essential oil for whatever you're using for, these can be great. So, and then the other thing too is, which I didn't bring one along, but you can make your own roller ball thing. So this is the roller ball. I like to use the ones that have a metal on it like that instead of the plastic. If you have a cheaper plastic.
Can I show it to the others?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we'll say hi to those people while we're there.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
So metal's a great way. I mean, some of the, you know, just so it holds up, because some plastics are not made, they're cheaply made, and they, you know, they can disintegrate with the essential oils. The
petroleum product that gets into your product.
Right.
Yeah. So you're getting it pure for a reason, and then you don't want to contaminate it while you're using it.
Right. And there are certain ones that, when you're doing it dietarily, like for me, I don't drink pop. I haven't drank pop for years. Well, maybe once or twice a year. Yeah. I'll have like a root beer or something like that. But anyways, you know, I drink lots and lots of water in my glass water bottle. So I will add dietary essential oils, like especially the citruses, you know, that like grapefruit, lemon, lime, tangerine, you know, all those, orange. I will add those in there, and you know, gives you a different flavor. And so yeah, so those are some of the main ways to use essential oils.
Thank you. Great. And I'm just going to welcome in everyone. Thanks for all the highs and the greetings to both Robin and Dusty Boy and myself. Thank you. You could tell we're filming with two screens, and the questions on mine are pretty small, but I will do my best to start writing them down. But right now, thank you for the hearts, thank you for the smiley faces, and welcome in now and on the replay. And we will be entertaining questions. And you know, if we have to take your questions and go off of like my screen and come back on just so I can get your questions, then we'll do that. So don't hesitate to ask questions. I just might have to find a way to read them better.
So we may do a part 1 and 2 if we
So we might have to do a part 2 Q&A, and there's probably nothing wrong with that.
No.
So that's the on-the-fly plan. So let's get down to the meat of this topic and talk about what can we use them for.
Okay. one more quick thing before we get started. Just talking about quality of oils.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, we talked about you can get them a lot of places. So if you're gonna put them, if you're not just using it for a light, I don't know. I guess I'm a snob about it. I want my quality oils if I'm gonna put them in my house, on my body, in my body, all that. So you want to look at the company and how they process the oil. Is it, because that's one thing FDA does regulate. And before we get into the other thing, I just want to also do a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. I don't diagnose and prescribe. And so I'm just sharing testimonies or things I've learned. But, if you are going to use essential oils seriously in that, you might want to consult with your doctor if you have any issues for things. So, but yeah, quality. So you want to look at the companies and follow, in a lot of them, you have to sometimes dig a little bit, for some of them, but you want to look at what the plant is, how they process the plant, like the seed that they're using, the ground, the farms, all that, how they're distilling it, because most of them are steam distilled, citruses are pressed distilled, but you don't want like a high heat. That's something that's going to ruin the quality of the oil. Also when they harvest is really important too, because you want those properties in the essential oil to do. If you're using it for therapeutic, because that's what I'm using, therapeutic quality, you want to have those things, and then how it's stored and all that. So most essential oils are in a darker bottle, and how you and also that they're not using solvents to extract more out of it or adding. So it can say, because FDA does not regulate that, it can say pure essential oils on the bottle, and that can mean it has 5% essential oils, and the rest is like a carrier thing. So, and if you get some of the ones like at the grocery store, and you get like a good quality oil, I know we're not selling things, but if anybody wants to message me about where to get them, I'm happy to answer those questions, because I do represent a company. But you can smell the difference between taking a really cheap oil and one that's a really you can just see and also as we do this, you get more in touch with your body. It's like my body knows what's good for it, and you can just smell the difference of what is good for you and that. So I just want to make sure that we got that in there about quality. So
we did have a question about, could you talk just a little bit more about internal use?
Internal use, yes. About just...
So you take them in a capsule?
You can take them in a capsule. You can take them like...
Is that like the safest way? Or the way to get without the smell?
It depends on what your purpose is, because that's going to get into your digestive system, and it's going to start breaking down. The cap will start breaking down there. But if you're doing like one of the things I like to use, there's a blend called Digest, so like supports the digestive system, and I will just take a drop under my tongue. And there's some, and the company that I work with, they have, like, if you look at these here, there's white bottles and then there's dark bottles, because that's one thing. FDA doesn't have a standard of like quality that's standardized, but it does say like you can use it topically and aromatically or internally. That like one or the other. You can't do both. But okay, so it's orange essential oil, lemon essential oil. We know you can do all three of those, right?
Yeah.
so it's the same thing in the same bottles, but so and any of those things that are citrus or spearmint or an herb thing, that we would take as a herb, we can just take it. Like I will add a drop of lavender to lemonade or something like that, or so you can add it to your beverage. You can add it in cooking. You can like make peppermint brownies that add peppermint essential oil if you want. So it's kind of nice too if you're like out of those herbs. Like when I make like guacamole or something and I don't have lime and I want to add it, I will add that in, or even enhance it. Like I have lime, but it's just a drop of lime just makes it seem so much fresher or something like that. So you can do it like that. Digest, I will actually take and do a drop under my tongue. I can also put it on my belly if I wanted to, but that is a what we call a dietary a dietary one, digest, because it has like fennel and ginger and all those kind of things in there. So yeah, depending on what your purpose is, you can add it to food, or if it's like a hotter oil that you want to take internally and you don't have a veggie cap, you can put it into what I would suggest a fatty, like even a tablespoon of coconut oil, and then mix it in there, and then you can take it and eat it internally that way. But if you're really wanting to do something or support something more of a long-term thing, you may want to do the veggie cap kind of thing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're talking about what can you use them for, which you just talked about digestion and taking the digestive.
I've been on this journey for a while, so I pretty much use them for all parts of my life. So it's kind of like a lifestyle change, I guess you'd call it, and trying to be well and support my body for what it needs, because I believe, and we learned this in Healing Touch as well, our bodies are natural healers, but they do need tools sometimes. They need a little help to have what they need to heal, and I think some of the essential oils will do that as well. So as I actually 2015, I was my what did I call it? Getting rid of all the chemicals in my house, not just like putting some oils on me, but like, oh, what's in this product that I clean my toilets with, or I clean everything with, or put on your lotions. Your skin is your biggest absorber.
Yes.
And gets right in there. So a lot of the beauty products we use, there's that's one thing that FDA in 19, hold on, I'm gonna reach down for a second. So I remember because I thought this was pretty interesting when I learned this. In 1976, the Toxic Substance Control Act was passed. And so that actually grandfathered in like 65,000 to 100,000 chemicals that are currently in the market today. So if there was a product that has it, like, I don't know, I'm just saying like Windex, I don't know if that is one of them, but some of the things that like we grew up with, but it's like, well, what's all in there? It does the job, but like, do we want that? Like, remember going to a class once, and she had made a window spray or counter spray with essential oils, and in her friend, one of them had Windex and one didn't, and the one with essential oils, she's like, she would spray it in her mouth, but the other Windex, would you spray Windex in your mouth? So it's like some of those things, they can just say fragrance, or they can say, natural things, and it's not necessarily that we want to put in our bodies or we want to put in our children's bodies. So
if you haven't detoxed your house yet, this is your sign.
More incentive for that, yes. So one of those things is we are our physical bodies, but we're also in an environment. So what are we being exposed to in that environment? Is it, do you have a cigarette smoker? Do you have, a lot of times somebody that's worked at an auto mechanics place, they're touching grease and oil all the time. That stuff's getting into your system. So that's a petrochemical. So sometimes, one of the things I've learned over doing this for a while too, quite often, the women women are more receptive to using essential oils and finding the benefits and doing things like that. And sometimes they're with the partner that is not as receptive, and they may not like the smell or whatever. But what I've learned from my experience is a lot of times if somebody's not so crazy about the smells and it bothers them, is that they actually are fairly toxic. And so when they get they're exposed to a good quality essential oil, their body actually starts detoxing. And if you detox too quickly, it's kind of uncomfortable.
People feel the food.
It doesn't feel so great.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, you start slow, gradual, like if the oil, you want to use the diffuser, just put 1 drop of essential oil in it to start with, and then work yourself up. That's what I had to do with my husband, actually. It's been quite a while, but that's what I had. It's like slowly. Now it seems like he doesn't. I can pretty much put anything in there. Not valerian. I know he doesn't like that one either, But so the ways to use it is also, all of our body systems. There's essential oils for. She wanted to go. You talked about head to toe, but I don't think we can exactly go head to toe. But we're going to cover it all. We're going to try to cover. We're going to try to cover it all. But like one would be one of the gateway for me with essential oils was emotional support. I love, I've always been, we're all emotional beings, right? But I've always felt like I was a little more particularly emotional, like easier to cry or share things like that.
And I think our audience is really like that, which I was going to mention. Those of you who have the intuitive sense of smell, we can use, and that includes me, you can have it done on your feet. You can use it on your feet. And then you are still receiving the smells of spirit while you're healing or coaching someone. Otherwise it can get really overwhelming. So the sensitivity, we have quite a few people who are empaths in our community. And they're feeling everyone else's emotions, including their own.
Right, right.
This will be very timely for them, Robin.
Well, so there are some singles that can help that, like lavender is good for relaxing, or people seem to know that one. Then there's blends of different ones like called Stress Away or Sacred Mountain, or things that would help you meditate. Like frankincense is a great one for getting more spiritually connected. There's sacred frankincense or sacred frankincense. Those are great ones for just emotional well-being. But also if you look up, and I'm not going to go into detail today, but you look up the whole olfactory system of how we're actually inhaling a scent, and it goes into up our nose into the amygdala. I mean, that is the seat of the emotional seat of our brain. So sometimes we have some trauma that we're just not releasing. We're holding from, years past or something, and by doing some smelling, and it doesn't have to be, if you have some sensitivities, maybe you're going to use the diffuser for a short time or put some on your hands and just spend a few minutes with it. You don't have to I'm going to be doing this for hours, but just especially if you're using it as to try to release some negative emotions that you're struggling with, it can be super helpful for that. And the other thing I find really helpful is for those of you that are very energy sensitive, one of the things for feeling good ones, I will put things on my heart chakra because I'm smelling that, like there's one called Joy or Bergamot or Rose is beautiful that, and the oils have frequency. They have essential oils have frequency. So a lot of times if you research some of this stuff and you're working on a certain organ or whatever, what's the frequency of that oil? What would help bring it up to that frequency that you want? Because I think each of our organs have a frequency as well.
Yes, and chakras each have a frequency.
Yes, so that can be one. And so some of the ones that are like, basil and marjoram and some of those, they're kind of in the 50s, I think, which is a good body support thing. But like rose, that's like, I want to say 150 or whatever. And then there's another one called black spruce that was even higher than that. So if you want to raise it at like an emotional level, some of those things can be very powerful. And I will use ones if I'm feeling kind of like waking up on the wrong side of the bed kind of thing, I will definitely put some kind of oil here. And then the other thing, when we talked about blends, but you can also layer oils, like say you can put one oil on and then put another one over it. Some like peppermint is called a driver oil, so sometimes that will help the other ones go deeper, the ones you put down first. But I will also use essential oils as a protection. Like I'm saying, going into a meeting or a crowd or something that you feel like, maybe some of the people's energy is not going to be so great there and I want to protect myself. Well, you can do some energetic kind of like a meditation type thing to protect you. But I have one blend that's called White Angelica that I will put on that helps clear. To me, I actually put it physically, I will take it on and put it into my energy field. So I'll kind of brush down my body or make a spray, because you can also make like a room spray and spray it into my aura. Because we're more than just our physical bodies, right? So yeah, for emotional support, there's a variety for that. And Then, and also too, if you're looking for information, there are, me being the librarian for years and years, I have quite the book collection about essential oils.
Yeah.
I've been collecting for a while, but there are some bigger ones that kind of have a lot of information. This is one that I use a lot that has, it's called Essential Oils Desk Reference, and that one has a little bit about like history, how to apply them, how they're distilled, the chemistry of essential oils, which is pretty fascinating if you understand that. I mean, it's not something I retain. I understand it when I'm looking at it, and I have books about it, but the sesquiterpenes, the monoterpenes, the phenols, if you kind of understand that, you can also know what oils are best to use for what you want to use it for. But say you're working on here's another example called Taming the Dragon Within. This one's about balancing women's hormones. So how you can do that, because that's kind of a complicated thing. So there's
that book should be thicker.
It should be thicker. Well, they try to make it simple, but here's one that I've used. It's been in multiple editions, called Gentle Babies. That's about using essential oils for pregnancy, childbirth, infants, and young children. This one's been around and reprinted for years. So whatever topic you're especially interested in supporting, I'm sure there's at least one book on it. And the place that I go to get most of my books is called Life Science Publishing, and they have quite a variety. Here's one that's been popular too over the last few years, and I've taught classes on this. It's called Lucy Libido. Lucy says there's an oil for that. and let me tell you, that was the last area of my house that I went the chemical free. It's like, ooh, what's in that little drawer by the bedside? What am I putting on my body or in my body for like lubrications or So this is pretty fascinating, and she makes it real fun. So anyways, and then a lot of times people, they're doing chemical free. There's a lot of DIY. Yeah, Lucy Libido. I may have to lend that one to you, huh?
She's cute.
Yeah, they kind of did the 50s housewife theme.
Yeah.
This Lucy.
I like it.
So she never says, she wants people to feel comfortable when she's discussing it. So she comes up with different terms, and she's really good. I just saw her.
50s terms, probably.
Yes. But also a lot of DIY. DIY, this one's lifestyles. DIY, chemical-free home.
Yeah.
Making your own recipes actually that can be a really cheap way to clean your house if you're making your own concoctions with baking soda, vinegar, water,
economical
essential
too,
oils. Yes,
huh?
and it smells good, and it's better than people like using bleach. Did you ever and people don't feel so good after using that kind of stuff and cleaning their house, because what the heck's those products. So
my house smells like white sage. I don't know if you noticed that when you came in.
Yeah, it smells good.
It smells like sage.
Yes. So, and I've also, I started a recipe book. Like, these are all my essential oil recipes that I use. Because, like, salad dressing, I make my own salad dressings now. I mean, some of that stuff, what's in there, it tastes better. I can add what I want. I usually make a smaller batch, but, I will do that. But otherwise, we did emotional support. We touched on it.
Yeah. And I do know people who use it to clean and clear their homes, and you said there's a book for that, and we're kind of promoting detoxing your home right now today, aren't we?
Well, and there's a lot of products that, we put like shampoos, lotions, toothpaste, that deodorants, all those things that,
natural.
Face wash. I mean, when I take a bath, it's usually Epsom salt bath and maybe some baking soda or something, and whatever essential oils I'm led to use for that. Do I have muscles a little sore? Do I have, am I tired? Do I want to wake myself up? Because there's oils for that, to relax. If it's nighttime, I'm not going to add peppermint. But if you want to, in the morning, peppermint's a good one to like put in your shower. Peppermint, to kind of pep you up a little bit. You can put that one on the bottom of your feet too. And, so that's invigorating, something that are invigorating, or for me too, which is kind of goes with the emotion. So if I love to talk to people. If you haven't gathered, like I'm gonna.
Yeah, I can't tell between
I don't want
the two of us.
Yes, but sometimes it's a computer task or some kind of thing that I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do that. So I will add some essential oils into my diffuser that will keep me on task. And actually, they've been proven. If you look at like PubMed or any of those kind of places, you can see peppermint helps your brain. There's some blends. I use one called Brain Power that has like that, or Clarity, which has they all have some peppermint or some of those stimulating oils to help you stay on task, and they work.
I like
it's
those
amazing.
names.
Especially if you
I want that.
tend to have a little ADD, or for me, the blue personality where like we'd call it the squirrel moments, because all of a sudden there's something else. But I want to stay at this task and get this done, and I'm not that it helps me focus. So, and I've done that for my grandsons. I made a roller ball with a few different essential oils in it, and I usually would do a carrier then to dilute it down, and then they can have that before they go to school, or maybe when they're doing their homework. And there's been studies that show even lemon or peppermint, when you're actually studying and you're getting exposed to that smell, and then you do the test and you may maybe have that peppermint roller with you or whatever. Some kids will actually have a little baggie with a cotton ball or something and have a drop of peppermint in there so they can sniff it or something, whatever works for you. But they actually have found that their performance goes better. Their score on the test goes better. Teachers have found if they make a lemon spray with some lemon or something in there and clean the desk when the kids are at recess, the kids aren't getting, their classroom is not getting as sick as the other ones. Like that cleaning product, works a little better. Cool. So, and peppermint, for the studying, what I was gonna say. I don't know. So it's one of those things that it helps you retain it better.
I know you can use peppermint on a cotton swab if you have those little tiny ant problems.
Oh, yeah.
They do not like peppermint. They totally disappear. So we like peppermint, but they don't.
No, spiders don't either.
Spiders
or mice.
don't either.
Mice don't
either.
No, there's a few of those things I did for a Master Gardener's class. I did, what can you use that's helpful for even spraying on your plants to get rid of aphids and things like that. So that's why I'm said for me.
Whole nother topic.
For
but
me
we do have a question.
Okay.
What about, since we're talking about that, what about repelling mosquitoes was one of the questions we got.
Yep. There are a whole bunch of ones that actually the company we used to always make our own, but now Young Living, the company I represent, they have one and it works really good and smells really wonderful. But if you want to make your own, things that they for a better outdoor experience, peppermint could be one, patchouli is another one. Usually do a combination, and you can probably find quite a few recipes on the internet. But when I'm making a spray, you could use and I'm doing something down. I'm diluting it down, like especially when my grandkids were younger, I didn't want the full essential oil on them, so I would dilute it down. So a hint on doing that is, if you have a little spray bottle and you're making your own, you can use like a witch hazel type thing, or you can use water. You would want to take a pinch of Epsom salts or some kind of salt, because that's going to help suspend the essential oil with your water to keep it mixed up. Citronella is a great one, citronella candles and that. So I'm usually, and eucalyptus is another one. So I've done, one time I had 3 bottles I made to see which one was working better. But I think they all work pretty good. But there's several different recipes, and it's not like this one's not going to work and this one's going to work. There are some oils that they just don't like. So if you're spraying those on the clothing, on the child, on the person, on the dog, or in the area, like, they're definitely, I think they work well. And I'm just, even now, like at Costco, my daughter-in-law got one. She's like, it was a essential oil, or an insect repellent with essential oils in it. And the one that I have.
Oh, she just picked it out.
Yeah, I mean, they have it, yeah, and it
Cool.
has, you look at what's all in those, but those are kind of the key ones that most people use, are some of those.
Now, what would you recommend for sinuses? Laura wants to know.
Okay.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
'Cause-
yeah. Well, and the other thing too is we all of us have different bodies, and a lot of, like eucalyptus is one of the ones, something with eucalyptus in it. I have a blend that it's called RC that has 3 different eucalyptuses. I think it has some peppermint. It's also good, although that's a little stronger. To clear your sinuses, if you have congestion, like you have trying to clear, you got a head cold or some kind of thing like that. There's other blends there's a thieves blend which has rosemary and lemon and clove and eucalyptus and one other thing that I can't remember right now. But anyways, those are great, but that's my first go-to would be eucalyptuses. Look at the eucalyptus family for clearing. And actually, if you add a little peppermint with the eucalyptus, it kind of has that spa kind of smell to it. So it smells great. And those are great ones to, you can either, I've done it where I've actually just put it in my chest. And that can be really soothing for night or for clearing. Or you can put it in a diffuser and use it at night or where your workspace if you're clear. The other thing that's good for congestion too are the citruses, surprisingly.
Yes.
Like grapefruit. So you can mix those as well. So I know I've had swollen glands or throat, and some of those can be really good as well. So you can do a mixture of those too.
And speaking of citruses, I think some of the men are more willing to use some of the kitchen ones. It just seems like they're not. I mean, they're more comfortable with the citruses or with the kitchen elements like cinnamon or different spices.
Right. Well, yeah, there's orange essential oil is pretty good in certain beers. Or lemon.
All right, there you go. There's your real tip.
If you don't have the lime or lemon or whatever,
to put in his beer to make him healthier.
It's an opening.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So Angela's husband actually uses mint. So we do have a husband in the crowd that uses
mint.
essential
Well,
oil.
and you got to be careful with mints too, because my family and even my kids, we like mojitos. And actually, luckily when I was in Mexico, we were drinking virgin mojitos. So that has the lime and the spearmint, not peppermint. Spearmint. Spearmint's a little less bitey and all that. So you can use those to enhance your beverages like that as well. And lime and spearmint are very refreshing on a super hot, cold day. So, but one time my daughter was trying to make mojitos and she thought, well, it's mint. Whatever. She had a peppermint. It's like, no, that was way too strong. It wasn't not the same effect.
No, nobody liked that one.
No.
So you mentioned lavender a couple times for relaxation, but what are some of the other relaxation oils?
There's actually a lot of times people do it. Yeah, lavender itself is called the Swiss Army knife of essential oils because you can do so many things with it. It's great for relaxing. It's great for baths. It's super awesome for skin. If you have any, one of my, I'm getting a little off topic with but I'm going to throw this one in there. My friend, actually, she's a doctor friend. We did cookie baking at her house one time, and she actually has 2 ovens. So she was helping. She's talking. But she actually took somebody's cookie tray out without putting on the oven mitts, and that was did not feel so good. So I had my lavender with her. I gave it to her. She put it on straight, and that's the other thing about essential oils I wanted to make sure I said too. It's not like, oh yeah, you take one aspirin and then 4 hours later or whatever. If you're using it for a certain purpose, most medical or over-the-counter things are like, this is the regimen. Essential oils are way more organic, so you're using it like when it doesn't feel so good again, or what
Okay.
It's just and then maybe it's gonna be 10 minutes, maybe it's gonna be 20 minutes, and then it's bothering me a little bit. I'm gonna put a little bit more on. So feel
Repetition
free.
is okay.
Yeah, feel free to do it that way. But she said
Great.
for relaxing, So some of the floral ones are really good for relaxing. Lavender, I guess, would be called a floral, but there's so actually some of the in the citruses can be really good at relaxing or mixing the two as well. So like a bergamot or geranium, and the oranges. Oranges is always kind of a not for relaxing exactly, but I don't know. I just usually use lavender for relaxing. But what is peace and calming? Some of the it would be a mixture probably of the florals and citruses, I would say.
And then is there anything else you should tell us about using them on children or animals?
Yeah, and well, actually, and pregnant women. There's a couple
Sure.
there's a couple.
Let's
there's
throw them in there.
Yeah, there's a couple. It's very limited. I mean, some people don't even want to use them, but essential oils can be so wonderful on pregnancy. You have these different issues, and you don't want to use drugs, right? You want to use more natural things because it's going to get right into the the womb. So there's great ones to put on your belly and all that are mild and they're going to be fine. But there's a few that are more hormone related, like clary sage, or some of the hotter ones. Some people avoid peppermint. I think you can use peppermint. You just use it a little more sparingly because it's a little hotter one. But some of the hotter oils like cinnamon and but the ones that's definitely for the those would be for women. Avoid the ones that are hormonal, which it's just a handful of those you would kind of know. For babies, like I said, you probably want to go from like their chest down where you're adding them, and you want to do dilutions, and you want to do the bottom of the feet are pretty good if you're gonna do it like neat. And animals too, because animals. I mean, actually, I have a big fat book about ADR, Animal Desk Reference book. It has all the animals in there. But I had my cat that she was always really curious. But they weigh like 8 pounds or something.
This one's 7.5.
Yeah. So you way less. But I have also taken it like swapping Healing Touch on one of my friends. She had her dogs were barking, so I put essential oils. I had a blend called Peace and Calming, and I had the dog smell it, and actually it worked well with horses as well. I have them smell it, but then I would actually just rub it into their hair, because the hair, it's going to get down into their skin, and it's going to be diluted as well. So just start slow and work into it. But they, animals and babies are smart. Like the body's just, I mean, it's
they
like
respond right.
They don't even have to know.
They?
They know it. Horses, they just they know. And babies, like if you put, there's one that we have a baby line that's already pre-diluted called Sleepy Jies, and you just can whip it under their nose, and they're just like it calms them down. You can do the same with lavender, but animals will go check it out. They're like kind of like, and the horses, the nostrils. You should see the nostrils flare. Like, what is that? I think I like it. Just like, so it's fun to watch them.
Yeah, I have a flea and tick mixture, and so when we go to Florida in the wintertime, and he's on the beach a lot, he has a little collar that has a little place to put your oil, and then he wears flea and tick, so he has it on continually.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, because there are some people have used those like plugins that plug in and they have aroma.
Sure.
Those are not good. I've heard, especially small animals. I've heard of ones that actually have seizures, have died because they've been in a room with that. So don't use that.
And if you've ever smelled the real thing, like she talked about quality, then those ones they plug in. That's not quality.
No.
That'll actually make you sicker than what you're using it for.
Right, and it has, because it gets toxic, and they're absorbing better. And we all have our energy fields, and some of the animals have huge energy fields. So they're, they seem to be more perceptive of those things. I mean, a horse could be the whole barn. I don't know about dogs, but I'm guessing they're like
big. And they resonate at a very high frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So when Dusty's on my lap, I know that my frequency is up where it needs to be. So that's kind of fun.
Well, he probably grounds you, and
the
Yeah.
ground calm and then raises the frequency because theirs
Mhm.
are so much higher than ours.
Are you keeping questions? Can
So,
you see mine? Or
When
is just watching? I can't see mine. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna have to look at it later.
yours are gonna.
It's more that they're watching. I think.
Yeah,
It's watching.
we'll catch
Okay.
them both.
Yes.
But in my series of chakra videos, I've been sending out a different chakra every month, and August was the heart. But I have been mentioning there, you can refer back to that, I've been mentioning the oils that kind of support and complement each of the chakras. Of course, I've mentioned stones too, because my other guest talked about stones and crystals.
And they can, like I said, they can work really well together as well, using both.
Yes.
And they both have frequencies. So,
And remember that our experience is with healing and healing touch. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
well, when I started doing, I've definitely been a plant person. I've always been a plant person. I think I bought herb books in junior high, and I've also, my college education is landscape architecture with a major in native plant community management and restoration, so prairies. And so I was always fascinated with what the Native Americans, how they use plants, and just using the whole plants and just being more environmental and natural anyways has always been an interest of mine. So actually kind of like the healing touch, and then the young living, especially with essential oils, because there weren't that many essential oils out there at that point. I think that was 2002, 2001. I started healing touch in both, and then as I slowly got into more and more both of them.
I don't know. 2002. We didn't start together.
No, we didn't start together.
We met each other.
But when I really started doing and went to pursue being a certified healing touch practitioner, I really started intuitively using essential oils with my clients, just a little bit at a time. But then I ended up taking a class later. That was actually out in California, and I was like, oh my gosh, like whatever she was teaching, I'm like, I've been doing that. It just validated what I was intuitively doing. So that was pretty cool.
I love it when that happens.
Yes, and sometimes sometimes this thing gets in our way, right? It's a tool. Is that my battery's gonna die or something? No,
We're almost
anyways, a lot of people are leading their whole life with the brain, and my belief is that we should be heart-centered, and this is our tool, this is our computer, so we can accomplish what we want that way.
Connecting heart to brain.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole nother life.
Yes, that's a whole nother life. So, but how about, let's see.
So we did have a question of, I bought a pre-made bottle of flea and tick for dogs.
Okay.
So I don't know what was in it, but what do you think was possibly in there for getting rid of fleas and ticks? I just had that question.
Well, it's probably similar to what we did with the mosquitoes. So
probably.
Why don't we give, because I could look it up in my book. Why don't we give a response back to that?
Okay, we'll do that in writing. And
Yeah.
by the way, if I missed anyone questions, I really apologize. Before my live tomorrow at noon, I'm going to have to figure out how to enlarge the print back to where my old phone had the print, so I can keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
So we will address questions in writing in the posts, and then we'll include the answer in both her live that she's recording and in this one. So we'll try to double answer questions so that everyone gets to hear them.
Okay.
How does that sound?
That sounds good. So, gosh, it's already an hour.
Yeah.
It's like we hardly got, okay. What is there any other outstanding ones? Because we kind of didn't even go over some of the other ones that much.
We did go over the questions that were asked so far. And, here's another one though. Quitting smoking.
Oh, addictions. Yep, there's some great ones that can help with addiction. The one that comes to mind for quitting smoking is black pepper essential oil. A drop of it on your tongue. I know that's worked for some people, and that's the beauty of it. You know what? Try it. If it doesn't work, there's other ones to try. You know, in my book, I know there's several suggestions, but black pepper was one of the top ones, and I don't know how.
Okay.
You know, that one is actually that one's great for muscle support as well. Black pepper,
yes.
you know, making a rub, muscular skeleton. If you're going to the gym, peppermint can be a great one as well.
Black pepper,
wintergreen.
and you can combine it with petrified wood, and
Oh,
then
yes.
those aches and pains will be gone.
Yes.
We think.
Yeah.
We're going to do our medical disclaimer here.
Yeah.
You've all read it on my website.
Yeah, well, anything, I mean, most of those go away eventually anyways, but if we can make it go away a little quicker, ease it or something,
Yeah.
that's our goal, to do that too. So yeah, there's a lot of other things that the essential oils will do. Circulatory system, nervous system, skin support. You know, I've been using the products on my face for years. I just turned 60, so I'm gonna keep doing it because I like I like that. I don't seem to have as many crevices on my face as some of the people my age. I don't know, spiritual support, cleaning your house. We talked about that. Your endocrine system support, which is what produces your hormones.
Sure.
So there's a whole bunch of that kind of thing. We talk. Let's see. I'm just looking over in my notes here too. The cleaning, the chakras, the bedroom support, supplementation. If you're taking any supplements, the essential oils can actually help you absorb them more. A lot of times supplements, we're taking them and they're going out of our system, right? Not maybe all of them, but a good chunk of it. Sure. And so sometimes essential oils can help us assimilate those better. But for me, what I've been trying to do also, as well, is focus on wellness. So what can I do so I'm supporting my body in its basic needs, but drinking water, doing the things, sleeping well, using oils in my house instead of toxins for cleaning and supporting myself. So then I'm less likely to get things, right? Because my body's happy and my immune system is supported. So. And
we are all about wellness here, aren't we?
Yes.
About keeping well so that we don't need the after effect. Have you heard of anything for varicose veins, or is that one you want to look up and get back to?
Well, I know some of the vein things. Lemongrass. Check out lemongrass, because that's what comes to mind for me. And I think that's been helpful with. Well, I know it's helpful with ligaments and things, but I think it'll also with the veins. But yeah, we can get back to you with that to double check. But that would be one I would check out to look at the properties of that.
All right. Well, we want to thank everyone for coming on today. And remember, you do have Robin's information. Just look at yesterday's email or look at the August 1st newsletter that came out, and you can link into a great article about her healing journey. It made for great writing, but I'm sure I saw her during that time, and it was a struggle. So she's definitely an inspiration. She's back living a full life and traveling, and I could go on and on about her ability to heal. So thank you for coming in with us, and blessings your way, everyone.
Thanks for having me, Darla.
You're
very
welcome.
fun.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank
Dusty
you.
says bye.